All right. So, thanks for joining us. We're
Not a
doing
problem.
we're doing the commentary for Give today. My name is Steve Dayton. I am the director of the movie, and with me is
Jason,
Jason. What do you have to do with this film?
what do I have to do with the film? Good question. I guess I am the star of the film. I'm the one and only.
Is that how is? Do you tell people that on a daily basis? Like, hey, I'm a star of this movie.
Um, no, I wouldn't say I say I'm a star, but I do say that I starred in this movie.
Okay.
Saying that I'm a star feels a little conceited, so I want to, I walk that line very carefully.
So, let me ask you this: How do you remember how you got involved in this, or how this came up to begin with?
So how I got involved in this, I guess. This would start back when you and I first met, when you were doing Pop Punk Zombies, and our mutual friend Brian kind of said that you needed a guy to fill in a character, and so I came in and filled in this role of a security guard who was supposed to have one scene that evolved into three scenes for that movie. And you and I stayed in touch, and then you and I started working together doing commercial work, and then you came up with this idea, and since I believe I became your muse, and you asked me if I would partake in it, and I was thrilled to. I jumped at the opportunity because I've gone in a different direction what I used to do, and it's kind of brought me back to the roots.
What we're watching the scene where it's one of the opening scenes because we have two opening
Yes,
scenes where you come in and you find out that Jenny's missing. Do you remember any specific things about shooting this scene?
yes. I remember this scene felt like I had to go for a very long time, and I do remember towards it's coming up here, but when I get to the point of frustration, I almost wanted to slap her, but I pulled back just because I feel like a parent would do anything to try to get some kind of answers to their missing kid. But I don't know. I pulled back on that a little bit, but yeah, this scene felt like it was very stressful because I'm trying to portray this fear and really try and pull it out deep with my own kids that I have, and really kind of what I would feel had I lost them. And that was kind of the first time I've had to do something that kind of in deep, that concerning.
Yeah,
Uh,
this role was a little different than what we've done in the past together. So
yes, yes, it is.
it's kind of interesting. Yeah, I remember you saying, "I feel like I should just shake her," and I'm like, "Yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to display you physically harming your wife in the opening scene. I don't think your character would come back
Yeah,
from that."
yeah, I think that may have yeah, set a bad taste in people's mouths at that point. And we
I,
didn't want to do that quite yet with me.
All right, now we're to the opening wheelchair scene.
Oh yes, the walking in the woods with the wheelchair that is not made for moving in the woods.
I don't know. I don't know why I decided that bringing a wheelchair in the woods would be a good idea. But to be honest with you, because of the paths that they had in the woods,
Hmm.
we kind of used it as a camera cart too, and to transport
Yes,
Bob or other little actresses around the forest.
yes. It became very a very multi-purpose cart, which was nice. But I mean, I know why we brought it in there because, as you'll see later, there's a reason why I have a wheelchair in the woods. Um, but it was quite interesting moving that wheelchair because those wheels would just dig, and because it was quite wet out there, like it wasn't like a dry season, it was a muddy season, so those wheels dug in pretty easily.
I wish we would have done more sign language.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
I feel like that was something that I thought about on the day, and we talked about it a little bit, and then we just never came back to it.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I've got a little, I've got a lot of knowledge in the sign language and stuff with my family, and I thought about it, but I don't know. I guess I don't know why we didn't decide to go back to it. It's a really good question.
I like this shot.
I do too. This is actually,
I remember you're saying like, I feel like I'm doing it for too long. Like I'm like, do it for 7 more seconds longer than you think you should.
yeah, I actually remember that when I went to push the cart, it actually, why it looks like I do two pushes, like to give that, but because it actually hit a like a stick or something and didn't go, so I just stayed in the scene and gave it another push.
Do you remember how I pitched this movie to you? Did I already ask you that question? No, I don't think so.
No, how did you pitch this movie to me? You told me that you had this idea and that you had the structure, but the it was he kind of described it as an experimental film where we're not going to have a script with dialogue. It's this is the structure of what I want to get across, and
I didn't mark your grave.
I want you to wing it. And I was actually intrigued by that because it feels very much like you know David Lynch does a lot of his movies where he has a script, but as he shoots it, because a lot of times he'll shoot chronological order,
And maybe somebody
he'll just
can
the
find
movie will evolve as he's shooting it. So what he started with the script, a lot of the actors I've watched interviews are like, it never ends up being what was the original script, and so it felt kind of fun to do something that was, we have an idea, but we don't know exactly how this is going to end, even after we shoot it. And honestly, I still think it evolved quite a bit, even after I felt like I knew what we shot, but the way you put it together, I think it turned out really nice
I'm
and
going.
Yeah,
Not coming back
it's different than stuff that I've done
ever.
in the past, and I was just excited about the concept of just trying to catch that lightning in the bottle in some parts of this movie and see like what popped out. And
Are you trying to get buff for summer? But you can't afford weights? No problem. We've got the solution. It's the Give Mug. Sun's out, guns out.
yeah. Oh
Yes.
man, are we gonna start talking about how you don't know how to crack eggs?
Oh, please no, please no.
All right.
Well,
This was the weirdest scene, one of the weirdest scenes for me. Um,
Jen takes after you.
Again, like you said, in past projects, I've never had to really
Like father, like
pretend that I was involved with somebody else,
Like daughter.
and I'm involved with somebody else. So that was
and that was
that was actually a challenge for me, is to pretend that I'm
and so I
in
just
love with this
put the egg
person
in there.
when
Well, you
in
need to
reality I'm
crack
like,
it first.
I'm not.
This is just going
So
to
yeah,
be-
this scene probably, I would say, was probably one of the hardest scenes for me.
yeah, it's not like the typical let's just do something physical to show
No.
the
Yeah.
bond. It's like trying to connect that
Make that connection.
that intimate feeling between couples.
Yep.
That, and I remember you guys like working out a couple stories ahead of time to help with your
Yep.
characters, and I think that's really
Yep.
cool. And I think that's
Yep.
one thing that was missing is I wish we had a little bit more time to do that throughout the whole
Look at- okay, now it's
process.
How
As
did
if
you
we
get
could have
there?
taken time to like talk about what we want these scenes to be a little bit more each time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying there. Again, this is experiment number one. I'm waiting for experiment number two coming down the road.
I think the next one will have more of a legit script.
Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed it. It was definitely a challenge as a whole, but even, like you said, I've done a lot of stuff with you.
Hello?
Um,
Anybody?
but there was no character quite like this one that I've portrayed. Usually
I
I'm
hear you out there.
portraying a oddball.
Jenny! Is that you, honey?
You know, because it fits your personality.
Where's
Yeah. So this was fun to do. I mean, like that scene, right? You know, just so everybody knows, I was not out there in the winter.
Do you think? I mean, I
Somebody
think people can
please.
easily tell that was green screened, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think you can tell that it's green screen. I look at it as it's
I need to get out of here.
it's this is the part where I'm going into this.
20.
It's almost like sinking into my mind. Like I'm going into my head and
Two of them.
battling whatever it is inside my head. So whether or not, you know,
Where
I love
am
this movie
I?
because you can interpret it in so many different ways. And honestly, every time I watch it, I think about it in a different aspect. Like that scene, I think maybe might be at the start of where I'm just like literally going into madness in my head, and this force just truly represents the inside of my head of me trying to figure things out and coming to acceptance of stuff.
Are you out there?
So, I think that's the tough thing about today's movie making process is that because there's so much good content out there, it's hard to get people to watch things more than once. But
Yep.
by forcing, you know, obviously I've forced a couple people to watch this multiple times,
Yes, I remember that
and
very vividly.
each time they're like,
Me riding
I think
my
I'm,
bike down the path
I think
and
I'm feeling it a little bit more. I think I
not paying attention,
understand
coming the other way.
a little bit
I-
more.
I-
and
That is until you.
Yeah, I think the more you watch it, the
I fell
more
off
you
on
kind of,
purpose to get your attention.
you know, like I said, I'll compare it to a lot of, you know, other movies that I've seen, and
What?
where the first time I watch it, I'm like, what is this? But then I
5,
wasn't so much with this, obviously, because I was part of it. But the more I watch it, the more I'm like, wait, this is feeling like this feels solid. This feels like what I think as much as we could expect it to feel like. Yep, she's showing me how to do the eggs.
You know, I have to admit
Yeah, I
something
just
at this. I actually thought that Susie was yelling, or was about to yell at that actress there, because she was like, "You shouldn't open the fridge like that." And I was like, "Whoa!" And then she was like, "Because there could be a salad dressing," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I was a little thrown. I was a little thrown off by that too. I was like, wait, what's wrong with opening the fridge? There's only one way to open a fridge.
Oh boy, but it was.
Yeah.
We had a lot of time in the woods. I'm talking
Yes.
because you're on this commentary, you get to talk more about your stuff. But if you have any insights or special things about the other actors that you want to state, because you really only acted with, well, I guess you acted with everybody, but
I acted with everybody a little bit, but I guess my main, I mean, honestly, I think most of it is me acting with myself.
that's your favorite activity.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if anybody's, you know, it's hard when you're trying to have this inner dialogue with yourself without making it feel forced.
I can see that. And I think that was that's another challenge of this whole thing is like
Where's the laugh?
there was
Where's the
times
light?
where it was just you and I'm trying to
Mhm.
explain to you what I think should be happening, but then you have to take that and then internally spit it out into something that
Yeah.
tells the story.
Yeah, and that was the other thing about this too is like, so you and I have done a lot of stuff together where I've acted for you quite a bit. But Susie, who plays the wife, she actually, this was her first acting gig, right?
Yeah.
And so I do remember her showing up into the woods way earlier than her time slot that she needed to be there to observe and stuff. And I know when she first showed up, it actually made me feel a little nervous. Like, oh man, I can act in front of Steve because I don't care what he thinks. But you know, I don't know how the other person is going to perceive this, and is she gonna say, you know what, this isn't for me, and leave before we even get to her shots? So I was a little worried, but she was totally game for it.
Yeah, she was
She was she was a trooper. I'll hand her that. You know.
Yeah, because I mean, it was just like, hey, let's show up at the woods and we'll start shooting this thing on this certain
Yeah.
day.
Can you meet these two strange guys in the woods? You know.
Well,
Tell
that was the thing. We instantly start making jokes about how this would be a perfect place to, or a perfect way to murder somebody. Be like, hey, we're shooting this movie in the woods, deep in the woods. Just show up there.
Yeah, it's that. You know, when you think about it, you know, I think about it now. You know, I do horror movies, but I also think about reality and the crap that does happen, and that always crosses my mind. I'm like, man, she is brave to come out here with two strange guys. I mean, that's so far removed from who we are, but you know, that's pretty brave to do that. You know,
Some say
but
brave, some say
crazy.
um,
No, but
this phone call scene. Oh man, I had so
oh,
much fun shooting this scene.
oh, yes, Bird Lake or yeah, this was another fun scene where I'm trying to improvise and then I had to on the spot try to think of the location and what was it, Bird Lake or something like that?
Wood Park, no, Wood Park, Bird Park,
Wood Park, Bird
Bird Park.
Park, somewhere.
And it's yeah, you say it and like we hold for a second and then I just die laughing because you're just and because I kept on giving you the note like, all right, just get to the stuff faster. You're talking faster, and you kept on saying, I don't think I can talk any faster. And I said, yes, you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, that was hard because I kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and trying to just come up with stuff and like, oh, Wood Park. I'm like, come up with a name. I'm like, Wood Park. I'm like, what a great name.
Do you? So this is I'll ask you these two questions, or I'll admit something. I remember pitching this movie to you, and I said like, do you want to be the next horror icon? Or
Oh yes.
I said something like that, and you're like, sure. And I don't think that I delivered on that at all. I mean, it became more of a drama, but I just remember being like, I
I
think.
now that you mention it, I do remember that pitch. I do. But yeah, you're right. I think it turned into a more of a supernatural thriller
Yeah.
than anything. But again, I like it as a supernatural thriller. I don't know what we could have done to make it more horror and made it feel organic.
I just yeah, in the end, I don't think the horror aspect of the story was something that we really pushed. I mean, it was just more about loss, and I mean,
Yeah.
I think these mannequins are creepy, but
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely got a creep factor to it.
so my other question for you was, what are a couple things that I did during the making of this movie that either frustrated you or you wished I would have done better directing you?
Um,
And you can hurt my
frustrated
feelings.
me. Making me run as much in the woods as you made me. Even after I tripped and nailed my shin. I mean, again, I go, you know, I go full force, and I don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it, but the running in the woods was exhausting.
That's so funny.
Um, that was yeah. That's the one thing I actually think I remember the most is just run, run, and run.
And that's something like, as a person who's only directed two movies, you just don't think about it. You're like, all right, we need this scene of him running, and then we'll cut to this scene where he's also running. So that's, two quick scenes. But then we're like doing it four times, and for both of us, I don't think we're either big runners. So
No, I don't believe in running unless you're being chased.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, these little lights keep chasing you, and you're like, I don't see these lights. I don't want to. I don't want to be running.
See, yeah, right there, I almost tripped on that thing. Just trying to figure out where to go.
Before the give mug, my paintings turned out like this. Now with the give mug, look at my masterpiece.
Oh, this scene right here. This is an interesting scene how we shot this. Actually, this you posted a still on this online, and okay, Berlin, she is she's a behind the scenes type of person. She likes to nitpick things and break things down to how it was done.
Okay.
And she blew it up, and she could see how he made her look like she was flying backwards.
Was the stool still in there?
If you look you have to zoom in, and you can see two legs of the stool.
I feel like I cut those out, but
Oh, like I said, she's one of those that like she'll dig into it, and she's the one that every time we watch even a Hollywood movie, and she's like, "Oh, that's green screen. That's green screen. That's green screen." Stop it! You're taking the fun away.
So how many continuity errors did she find in this movie?
No, she actually liked it. Actually, I showed this to my mother-in-law too. Actually, it was funny. I didn't say anything to her about it. I just said, "Hey, let's watch this movie," and we started it. And I think it was about 15, 20 minutes into it. Like, what do you think? She's like, I like it. I like it. And she didn't say anything about asking if that was me or anything until about halfway through the movie. She's like, is that you?
Nothing.
And I'm like, yeah. She wants a copy of it, but because she doesn't have streaming.
Okay. So you're telling me I need to make hard media.
Maybe a couple.
Tell me a little bit about this scene.
Yeah, she was right there in my face. And then I think you said closer, closer. I'm like, how much closer can she get? She's like, but no,
Well, this is sorry to interrupt you, but this is
No.
one of those scenes that probably drove this movie because as a parent, I always have little kids coming in and you're sleeping and they put their faces so close to yours and then they whisper crazy stuff that I'm like, like the doorbell keeps going off and I think there's a monkey in my room, and you're like, I am not awake enough to deal with all those things. And so that was one of the driving forces of like, what happens if there's something in our room and something really in our room and you didn't believe it?
yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen a couple memes that even make fun of that. But yeah.
But the other thing about that is I remember we're shooting it and like you rolled your eyes once and I could only see the white of your eyes and I was like, that's really creepy. Just keep that look, but deliver all your lines.
Yeah, I remember doing that, going, oh, trying to keep that. And, your eyes are not meant to do that for long periods of time. Like, yeah. And of course, I'm blind without my glasses, so I'm doing a scene without my glasses, but trying to be able to see at the same time is pretty difficult. It's crazy though. You talk about this being in the woods, but yet it was so easy to be able to change the look of the scene by just shifting the camera just either to the left or the right, and it looks like you're in a completely different place.
Right. It's that mixture of like,
You want me?
sometimes it looks like it's so crowded, and sometimes it looks like it's open and it looks different, but it all looks like the same.
There's me trying to build some kind of structure. I do like these home video clips that you threw in there.
Thank you. I shot those myself too.
I
So that the little actress in here is Iris. She's not only plays Jenny in the movie, but she's also my daughter. So
yeah.
And she did a fantastic job.
Yes, she did. She creeped me out a few times.
What do you remember a specific time?
The bedroom scene, the way she just whispers that stuff, but I think I creeped her out too. There's a scene later on where I'm just walking towards her, and my feeling is that she just kind of looked at me in the way. I just had this, like, you don't see it on the camera, but I have this blank stare on my face because of the scene, and I'm walking towards her, and I think she just, like, the way she just turned and ran. She was supposed to, but just the way she did it made me feel like she generally was a little concerned about this guy walking up towards her.
Yeah, she still talks about how creepy you are. How she does.
Really?
Yeah, I remember her talking about how that really did scare her. I'm like, you're supposed to be the one scaring him in this scene.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. It was just,
It's just your face. I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about these parts right here is I did absolutely no interaction with the older Jenny.
Right.
But yet, when you look at this, it looks like, we're one and the same of this whole scene.
Well, there are even different seasons. We shot older Jenny in the fall, and we shot this more in the summer.
Well, it was the end of summer, just the beginning of fall, and I think
Right.
you shot her a little bit more towards the end of fall.
Yeah. It was that was something that after the shoot I decided that we needed something more. I don't remember if old Jenny was ever in the first pitches.
No, actually, I don't even think she was in the first draft of when you put you first put it together, and you kind of showed me the first draft of it. I don't think she was in there.
Well, I think that's sometimes the biggest part about filmmaking is you shoot the thing, you make your cut, and then you share it with people, and they tell you all the things that don't make sense or that they don't like, and then you have to take that information, you have to be like, all right, how can we fix this?
Yeah.
I don't remember why old Jenny decided to come back in. I think it was to explain a little bit more about what happened.
Yeah, she was kind of like, I mean, I think it was so that I could, hearing it from a little kid, I think is harder to grasp because, little kids make up a lot of stuff where I think an older version of her would make me believe it a little bit more as,
I think, and with the Harvey character showing up midway, I wanted to show that Harvey was taken. He was the little boy who was taken in the beginning of the movie to show that these children are being taken and they're not dying. They're going to somewhere else and they're still growing at a different rate. But then there's like this bridge back to reality.
Back to this reality, yeah. You mean Harvey, who refused to help me?
Yes.
So selfish.
Well, you didn't. You weren't helping him either. I mean, that's the thing. It's like
know,
you guys are both bent on getting what you want.
Yeah, I know. I'm.
Guess who I found?
It's like, okay. Which is, what's funny is, everybody talks about who would want a mannequin. Brian actually had a mannequin when we were young, when we were in high school. We had a mannequin in our hangout area. And then we had a dummy that we used a lot, and we named him George.
George. Do you remember, and what is this dummy's name?
Oh, I forgot what the dummy's name is. I think she says it around here.
Bob.
Bob, that's right. And then her story about Bob is actually quite an interesting story. Some kind of ant war.
What's it? Iris was who plays young Jenny was really good at, and she is really good at just making up stories, and like she's a pretty good improver because for a little kid just to be like, all right, tell me a story about this dummy, and you kept on asking her questions, and then she wasn't like, what should I say? She was just like, there was
rolled with it.
Ant war.
Yep. I mean, but what I found interesting is like that's the story she came up with. Like it was just not the story I expected for this mannequin to have.
The ant war. The mannequin thing is now I still have 7 mannequins at my house, and we use them for we use them for makeup a lot of times. So the kids will put makeup on them. I'll use them to practice lighting. I mean, there's just a perfect stand-in. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, actually, that reminded me when I was in visual communications back in college, and we actually had this mannequin, and I think by the time I think it still is. Actually, it's still probably there. That was always used to set up a lighting in the studio and stuff. So it's always nice to have a mannequin.
To make out with and everything.
Hey, each their own. I'm not judging.
Do you love frogs and toads? Who doesn't? Build them the habitat of their dreams with a give mug.
What about the purse? I feel like was something that we added.
Oh yes, the purse you added, but like most movies, you shoot it out of order. And I came to the realization, I'm like, all right, I have this purse now, but we shot so many running scenes that I'm supposed to have the purse. So we added the scene where I tuck it in my pocket so that if we use some of those scenes, it was in the pocket the whole time.
That was
even though the pocket would be way bulging out. Like I think I already technically have the purse, and
Yeah,
I think I stuck it in my pocket, but we clearly know it's not here.
Maybe it's shrank down. You never know.
You know what? Like I said, like right there, it looks like I'm actually having a conversation with her. And like I said, none of our scenes were shot together.
Which is, this scene is funny too, because do you remember what happened or how we ended up getting this?
Yeah, I just started, how we got to that scene. I just remember I was just supposed to be arguing.
I think you were done running and you were taking a lot of breaths and you said something, and then I just start asking you questions, and then you start talking without really forcing the acting. But then you also knew that I was going to use this in the movie, so you start trying to wean it back into.
Yeah.
So it was like
it's hard, you're trying to get that balance, and we had a pretty good idea of what the vision of the character is supposed to be, but yet at the same time, we are still two individuals that have a slightly different kind of idea. So trying to get that balance where the ideas kind of mesh in the middle and work for both of us. That was an interesting challenge.
Yeah. Hot yoga.
I just love how I just ignore the guy. Like
he's talking and you have no part in it.
Yeah, it's like where you try sweating.
I have to admit, my mistake in this scene was originally what I wanted to do is have, there's a couple scenes where you're sitting on the couch and there's flashes of like memories projected on your face. I wanted to do that with this scene of have everybody in the room like stay really still and then flash memories like this was a memory.
Okay.
I didn't do that, and so I think it's a little confusing, but overall I think it
worked. No, actually it was funny because BJ and I we got a lot of similar interests, so it was easy to have a conversation with to make up a conversation with him. Matter of fact, I still got to get a copy of his book so I can read it. I don't know if it was intended, but that scene where she walks up there and how bright it is behind her really just makes that it's almost like heavenly. I don't know, I just heavenly in a way where not in but yeah, it's just that bright light, just such a contrast.
Yeah, I love that. I love that scene. I feel like the fan behind you showing like the mixture in your mixed up head.
The confusion, the head spinning, and
yeah, feels good. Feels right. I like the lighting here too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, even that soft glow that's coming off the shoulder there, it just that.
And then cutting back to future and past.
So I do have a question. Well, I mean, we're kind of here.
Yeah, go ahead.
But you see the pills there and stuff.
Yeah.
Which represent, that she's obviously, the pills are on the floor, which a lot of times is, here's the Harvey scene. We'll come back to my thought here in a little bit. I just, can you help me, man? Like, you're an adult. Help me. No, you help me, kid.
Where's Jenny? Where's my parents? Where's Jenny? Where's my parents? I don't know.
And I like how he kind of he's like getting angry with me, and I'm just like, I just love it how I'm just like, you know what? No, you find my daughter for me, and then maybe I'll find your parents.
Maybe I'll help you out. And then he's like, nah, I'm out of here. I'm gonna find somebody else in this woods.
Yeah.
I need to find my parents.
Yeah, this was fun to shoot, but Harvey kept on complaining that he kept on getting, no, in the pricklies.
Yes. Well, there was plenty of them in that area.
Yeah, and we kept going off the path and kept going in. Luckily, nobody got poison
Seriously.
ivy.
Yeah. But yeah, you know what? I'm actually surprised that we didn't really have that many people come through the area while we were shooting.
We had a good amount.
There was I only feel like it was a small handful compared to what I would expect on. I mean, because there was a lot of public trails there for people to either bike or walk, and I mean, we had handfuls of people come through, but it was nothing that forced us to have to stop for very long periods of time.
Right. I liked how nobody was ever really that concerned or interested in what we were doing. Like, they would walk by and they would see us with a camera and then the Bob the dummy, and
Yeah.
and they would
I'm just glad that there was one scene. I'm glad that nobody walked in while I was doing, which we haven't gotten to yet. So,
all right, what were you gonna say about the pills?
Oh, the pills is so she's been catatonic this whole time. Did she take the pills herself, or did I overdose her?
Well, like this whole movie, I have what I believe happened, but you can decide whether.
And that's kind of the way I put it. It's like, you know what? And that's one of the things why I like this movie is it leaves it to be interpreted in so many different ways. So somebody can take a different thing from this movie. Everybody can take different things from it.
But I put in clues and shots that hopefully help people know what I was thinking. But
talking about Iris's way to improvise, this is another one of those scenes where she rolled with the conversation and with very little not little direction, but holy cow, that car looked like it came up really fast. Oh, I was at a stop sign. I was like, holy cow, I never noticed that before. But you gave her, hey, this is kind of the conversation, and she just rolled with it for the most part.
Yeah.
And it worked really well.
The cutest thing is she talked about being a veterinarian, but she always called it a petrinarian, which I thought was a way better name for a veterinarian than a petrinarian.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we just went and drove for this scene.
Because I think we shot this on the third day of shooting, where we're just trying to pick up all the pieces that we need to.
Yeah, I think I think we were finishing up that last handful of scenes because did we shoot anything out in the woods on the third day?
Yeah, I think we woke up early and went and shot some pickup shots.
Okay. Yeah.
I wish I went to put black tape over my license plate.
I will say that some people have noticed that right away.
It is like it's like what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I could have just blurted out. We could have just taken it off for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one thing where it's very hard to see her through the window.
Is she?
And here is, yeah, she's in there at that point.
Is she?
Yeah.
Is she?
Either that or I'm just getting the wheelchair out for myself.
Yeah. How do you like wearing flannel so much?
You know what? I don't mind flannel. I like flannel. But it did get hot and wet, and shooting, stuff over a couple of days wearing the same clothes out in the woods, it's,
that is
got a little rank.
Yeah. That is the tough part about one outfit. Well, no, we had multiple outfits, but we
had like 3 or 4 outfits total. But this is the outfit that was the most wear and tear.
I think you originally had a yellow flannel. Is Am I dreaming of that?
I can't
Or did I
stand
pitch
it.
you a yellow
A
flannel?
yellow?
Yeah.
No,
You
it
don't?
was always
Shelter.
red and black that I can remember.
I wish we would have had a yellow flannel.
Why yellow?
It works with the theme of the movie.
I suppose, yeah. We'll take it back in post and change it.
I can't.
Just erase it and
just
color it.
just switch your
Rotoscope it and
yeah.
color it.
These
I
are
just-
these are tough scenes because I'm having you talk to nobody,
Mhm.
but talk to somebody.
Yep.
Trying to finish what I started.
Now, is this actually green screened as well?
No, this is live.
Wow, that separation looked almost green screen.
Tricked ya.
That's what
I want to get out
No.
of
I
here.
know.
Bob's looking at you destroy your fort.
Being
What-
a voyeur.
We kept on arguing about whether it's a fort or a shack. Because you kept on calling it a fort, and I was like, little kids make forts. You're a grown man. You make a shack out of food.
But I like my fort.
I took the kids back into this woods a couple months ago, and they kept
Yeah.
on saying, let's go look for Jason's fort. And I was like, that was a year ago. That fort doesn't exist. And they're like, no, we can find it. And I was like, it's right there. And they're like, really? I'm like, yep. Let's go.
Was it really there?
No, I can't find it. I don't know where it is.
Oh, really? I could show you.
That.
I'm joking. Oh, but the one thing about this was it the first night? No. Was it the second night? No, it had to be the first night. When we got home after the long day of shooting and we're unloading everything from the car, and then we're like, "Where's the DSLR camera?"
That was the second night.
Was that the second night?
Yeah, because Kelly
And
had
then-
showed up.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Kelly was doing all those pictures then. And you and I went back into the woods in the pitch dark, and man, realizing how like dark it is out in those woods. It can be creepy if you ever get lost in the woods.
It's pretty scary.
Sure you
Yeah,
Yeah, because
what you leave behind.
going all the way to the back. I mean, we were almost to the farthest back of that area that we shot in. And thank God the camera was still there.
I know. I have to still release that behind the scenes footage.
Oh, that's right here. I'm glad that nobody came up on us while we were doing this scene
Yeah.
because, yeah, this might have been frowned upon.
Burying somebody in this woods.
Yeah. Part of me kind of wishes we dug it deeper and dumped some more dirt on her, but the fact that she was up for us doing what we did was pretty cool.
Well, and it's like, how much time do we really want to spend actually digging the grave? You spent a good amount of time.
Well, that's because we didn't even think about it. Is all right, we're in the woods. What do trees have? Roots. So trying to dig through these roots was not easy.
See, that's
So we just had to, yeah. You don't think about that when you talk about people getting buried in the woods.
how much time it actually takes to plan that out and get it done.
Yeah. But I do like, I mean, she does look
Since I was a kid,
dead.
What's that?
I think Jenny would have liked
Did you do something to make her look that more pale?
Yes. I selected her face and... Oh, right there, yeah. She's not...
Yeah.
Oh,
The fact that she was willing to let me just dump it right on her face. Because and the thing is though, if I didn't dump it on her face, I feel like it would have been too fake.
Yeah.
Like when you throw it on somebody's face, that's like a real signification. All right, this person is dead enough that they don't even notice it coming on their face.
I'm going to leave that one alone. You know what the interesting part about that is, if you did really love your wife and you were burying her in the woods like this, and this could be this also is just more symbolism. I don't know if you really did bury her in the woods, but I don't know if I would. For the first or second place I'd go is dump dirt on the person's face, but maybe if they're haunting your memory, you want
Yeah.
to stop looking at you. Hey, I just went down a little rabbit hole on my own.
Tell me what happened.
See, do you think that? So this is the other thing: is you're wearing a different flannel shirt here, and I don't know if that if people just mistake that as same day, or if we should have done something more different.
Drastically different.
Yeah.
You know, I thought about that. I mean, it's definitely different just because I'm staring at it. But yeah, I wonder if we should have gone with something a little bit more different if we're trying to make it a different day.
Introducing the new GIVE Pet Food Scoop. Easy to use. Just scoop your pet's favorite food, pour it in, and your pets will love it.
Shh. Oh, you can see the light in the window there.
You can?
I think so.
I don't think that's a light. I mean, it's a reflection of something, but I don't think it doesn't say light to me.
I feel bad for Susie in this scene because I was just like, all right, you're a part of the scene, but don't move or blink or think or do anything.
You stayed strong, confident.
Do you remember any the notes that I gave you about this scene?
I need you to.
No, I can't say I do.
I gave you the story about about Jenny being born.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's right.
That was all me.
About
Threw
time.
you.
About dang time he did something.
I gave you something.
No wonder it was the hardest scene to deliver. There's one of your little
There you go.
nods.
Did you catch that the first time or no?
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
The mannequins.
So I don't know if you knew this, but after we were done shooting, I also did go out in the woods with just me and the mannequin to do pickup shots.
Oh yeah.
So you think it's weird for all of us to be out there shooting with the mannequin? It was just me and the mannequin.
Did you have a lot of people? Oh yeah, this is the scene I was talking about where I think I creeped her out a little bit.
Yeah. And originally I wanted to show that she did her own makeup and that she did makeup on the, like, do the makeup weird on the mannequin itself, but I think we ran into, like, continuity problems where we're like, all right, we should just keep the mannequin the same.
Yeah.
Do you...
I'm just watching. Yeah. This is the part where, and now.
Yeah.
It's like, screw this, I'm out of here.
And then you start running after her. It's perfect.
Where are you going?
Do you remember
Don't run.
that one day we were out in the woods and the one lady did stop us and was like, what are you guys doing? And we told her that we were making a movie, and then I don't know if it was me or it was you, and we're like, yeah, it's gonna be released one day. Do you want a picture with Jason and the dummy? And she was like, sure. So we made her take a picture with you and the dummy. And I wish that somehow one day I could find that on the internet of this lady, you and the dummy during the shooting
That would be
of
funny.
GIVE. Because we
So
didn't have...
She took it herself, right? Or we took it with her camera?
We took it with her camera. I don't know why. Well, I don't know why we were like, hey, yeah, take it with your camera. Or like, hey, can you follow, or like, send me your information so we can send you a copy of the movie. Like, that was perfect. That was a perfect avenue to promote.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe while we were shooting this that these little lights kept on showing up. It was just kind of random.
Wasn't it? Yeah. And they wanted to take my bag.
And you would not have it. You
Nope.
wanted that person.
I think this is one of those scenes where I ran and I actually tripped somewhere here.
Maybe at the end.
Oh, it was Yep. Hey, I tucked it in.
Yep.
Because
That
part
is
of it is we didn't know what running scenes you were gonna use where,
right.
and we did a lot of that running stuff at the beginning, and so we wanted to make sure that we had something in there to fix that continuity.
But I mean, now watching this footage, as you can see, when you're running through the forest and it's that wide shot, it might feel like you're running really far, but to the camera, it looks like you're barely moving.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't say it before, but that one scene just right after I tried chasing around that corner, and then he kind of did this whole sweeping to me, and then to her, and then back to me, and then back to her, and then back to me, and to her older version. I think that scene right there finally kind of really establishes that older version of Jenny is the older version of my daughter. Up to that point, I don't know if it clearly states it. I think people can figure it out. Oh wait, yeah, I actually felt that was a real fall there.
You're gonna point out all
But
your real falls.
yeah. Oh, dude, my shins were hurting. But yeah, up to that point, I think it's I think it is, but I'm not sure. But I think that is the point where we kind of say, yep, this is the older version of her.
This is live. This is real footage of you in pain.
Yes.
You're
yes.
like, I'm hurt, and I was like, all right, let me roll on it. I'm
That re-
sorry.
No, it actually reminds me of who was the director that did The Exorcist?
All of our movie fans are gonna just kick our butts.
I know.
I'm blanking.
Oh, but yeah, the whole scene where Reagan throws her mom across the room. He
Yeah.
basically did the same thing because she was saying that getting pulled back, it was hurting her back. So he told the stunt guy, pull it as hard as you can one more time, and he did it. And that whole scene where she's just screaming in pain, she is literally screaming in pain. It's like, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling. All right, cut. Somebody call an ambulance.
That's. Oh, I hate to do that. I don't want to.
No. I honestly, I think you kind of talked to me about, like, hey, can I get it? I'm like, you know what? I'm already here to get what you can.
I don't know.
And then
Oh, here's a different enough wardrobe.
Yeah, there we go. We switched it with the hoodie. What
Yep.
do you remember about this scene?
She won't answer. She's the one that was on
He
the
just
phone.
doesn't like me, does he? The one thing I look at the scene, and this brother-in-law really doesn't like me. And I get from this scene that this brother-in-law has never really had much faith in me as a good enough guy for his sister, because like I've done what I can at this point, but yet apparently it's not good enough for him.
Right.
Like, I called the cops. I can't. You can see your sister in the other room doesn't talk. Like, what else am I supposed to do? But he just won't give up on me until dinner's ready.
Until breakfast is ready. Until Stacy's got dinner. Because
I don't know. She won't speak.
I remember we start doing this two different ways. Hey, there's Wonder Woman.
I have a plan. I'm thinking about doing something.
Is that you were getting angry at him as he was yelling at you, and I was like, I think
This isn't magic.
your character.
She's out there somewhere.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say your character is just beaten down and frustrated, and you've tried things, and you don't. There's no explanation, and so it's hard for you to find those answers and give them to people when you don't have them yourself.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I felt like getting angry was the direction I want to go is because as an individual myself, in conversations where I'm like, I've done everything that I can do, I get angry when the person keeps pushing on it. It's like, what do you expect me to do? It's like, I've done it.
Right.
It's like, you tell me what else I'm supposed to do if I've done everything that you're,
What happened? I don't
Yeah,
even know
the scene almost makes the movie for me. I feel like this sums up a lot of the ideas that I had.
I like the way he bites his lip there, like almost like, you know, I don't really want to freaking punch you.
Right. Like, we're gonna fight, but instead, let's go eat.
Yeah. Wow, that's probably the cleanest your living room has ever looked, right?
I hate you.
Dude, you got kids. I got kids. Trust me.
Well, I had to take all the pictures off the wall too, so
That's right. Yeah, this was hard because that wheelchair did not want to move very well, and I kind of felt bad because like I'm pushing her through this forest in a wheelchair, and the wheelchair does not want to go half the time because it's just digging in.
Susie just has to sit there. And this is
Yeah, I think there's almost a point here where
yeah, it gets
I
stuck.
Yep, it gets stuck, and then I kind of have to pull back and go. And then there's another spot, I think. I'm not sure if it's on if you got the shot in the movie itself, but where I hit it, and I almost feel like I almost dumped her forward.
Those would have made for good bloopers. Maybe it could be right here. I probably cut before it. Oh, right
yeah,
there.
Right there. Yep.
You almost dumped her. That's funny. All that good.
I almost think like that would have been kind of
symbolic.
Yes, like if I actually dumped her and then, you know, we showed a shot of me like just finishing putting her back in the chair to continue the roll. But
I'm sure Susie would have loved if you dumped her in the forest. She was just she had to deal with all your shenanigans.
I mean, she was definitely willing to do a lot of stuff for this, so. And honestly, I think we could have probably pushed a little bit more, and she would have been game for it. But let's not ruin her first acting experience.
Well, and there's always this mixture of we could do more takes, we could explore new things, but we're on a limited time frame, so you sorry, the head really freaked me out there. You risk missing out on possibly finishing the film if you decide to get too precious about a certain scene.
Yep.
Get away from me. That's my hand.
Is that your hand?
Yes.
I was gonna say, because I don't think I ever rolled up my sleeves.
No, that's the tough part. But
Oh.
that's the thing, is if you're gonna catch that kind of stuff, I appreciate you watching.
I honestly didn't catch it until just now. Like, and I only thought, like you said, it's your hand. I'm like, what can I tell? Oh yeah, I never rolled up my sleeves. Whoa, that shot's trippy.
This one?
Yeah, I don't know why.
This is the tough part about shooting with natural light, though, is that most of the time we shot overcast, and then for this short hour window while we're shooting this really important scene, the sun comes out.
Yep.
And goes back in, and comes back out, goes back in.
Oh wow, I mean, I knew the mannequin was there, but I didn't realize there's like 3 of them there.
Yeah.
Why won't you let me go?
Now we're just invested in watching the movie. This happens. Does this happen in all of our commentaries?
I don't know.
What you took from me?
But I mean, I know it happens in commentaries where they just kind of like, oh, here's the scene, and they just get engrossed in it, and oh yeah, we gotta talk about it some more.
Do you remember anything that was going through your head in this scene? I remember this being a tough scene to direct.
Yeah. Oh, I remember throwing dirt at the mannequin, and I remember being. I think this scene was shot after I had fallen down numerous times, so any type of kneeling I did was really sore on my shins, and I think that's partially why I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna lay down.
You made choices to lay down.
Yes.
Now this is.
I just want it better for us.
Why did I have your shoes off?
I think it was to save your carpet.
That's precious about my own stuff. I like that we shot this all from her, like that side of the room.
Yep.
It didn't switch.
Oh. And this is the same day that I take her out because I'm wearing the outfit.
Yep.
I'm wearing the outfit that we go in the woods.
Yep.
Now here's my question.
Yes.
Where's the dog?
The dog is in a couple shots.
Is it?
Millie is in a couple shots, yeah. Especially when you get back. It's actually when you get back from the woods. Millie's in a lot of shots of you on the couch. So maybe Louise turned into the dog. Maybe she's still with you.
Maybe. No, I just say that because we see the dog kennel there, but we don't see any dog.
So was it all right? Acting choice. You just did like the praying hands together. Was that a choice, or was that just?
It was a choice because I was actually trying to get the tears moving, but I was having a little difficulty, and I know I personally myself a lot of times will just do a lot of stuff where I'm just covering my face when I am in an emotional state like that. And the prayer hands, just like, because I think when somebody has gotten to the loss that he's at, even if he's not a religious person, sometimes I think people will just they'll grasp for whatever they can, you know. And so it's like I think that's where I went with that, because when you're in that, just when you're at the bottom, I mean, you'll reach it whatever you can to kind of pull you to that, you know, pull you off the bottom.
We can't live without forgetting what we've lost.
Yeah.
And your boots.
And my boots.
Look at how dirty. Yeah. I don't know why the mannequin had. Can I just? I don't know why the mannequin's there. I don't think that was a very good choice on my end. I wish the mannequin wasn't there.
He's taking a nap with me.
I love the See, we're not listening to. We didn't even talk about the score, but because we're not listening. The
score is great.
But
I really like the score. It really pushes a lot of these scenes, and I've actually listened to the score just on its own quite a few times.
I should go back and do that. Alex did a fantastic job creating it, and I've listened and watched a lot of independent horror movies specifically lately, and it's just like next level. I love this shot, and we're using the
wheelchair for this.
Yes, that worked out.
Yeah, it did.
Dang, should have done that more.
You know, you always look at things and go, man, I should have done this more. I should have done this less. But you know what? Those were the right decisions at the time.
Yeah, you face obstacles and you try to overcome them, and that's the whole thing about this movie and about filmmaking in general.
Yeah, I mean, you could tear it apart until you're blue in the face, and you know, an artist is his own worst critique. You know, you're never going to be 100% happy with it. And Gitmo, good enough to move on. It's actually a phrase I learned. Gitmo, good enough to move on.
I feel like you've preached that to me before. I also believe in that. I believe in just making sure that you have what you need to. Because it would be, if we would have been too precious about anything, we might not even be talking about this finished product that we have out in the world. We might be talking about, I don't know, maybe we won't be talking.
I do really like how we did this scene.
To add to the pile? Okay, I'll go over
here. It was kind of cool how we did it.
What do you like mostly about it? Mostly?
Well, I mean, it's that completion that what had, you know, but you know, we use the green screen a little bit here, and so that I don't know. It tied that this is the past and we're watching it from the present.
Right. I feel like this scene really does bring everything together, and that was the whole point of it, and it did come out.
Hey Jenny, how about these?
We get to see,
Where'd you go?
And then it just turns into, and Susie did a fantastic job with the scene. I don't know if you remember this, but she did 2 takes, and then I realized that I had given her the wrong wardrobe, and so we were like, I don't even know
Oh,
how.
that's right.
I don't know how far in the woods we were, but she's like, "Oh, it's in my car." So she had to run to her car, and light. We were losing light, and then she had to sprint back, and she got back, and I was like, "All right, you ready to give this another shot?"
Yeah, I do remember that.
It was, and maybe it was somebody was like, "Give her a second to keep her breath." I'm like, "No, we can use this."
Yeah, no, like that scene right there where we're standing there and I mean, she's there and there. I just, yeah, right here.
Yeah, it's very ghost-like,
Yep.
like the movie Ghost.
The one thing, if I were to just maybe tweak something on the scene, and that's just my me just wanting to tweak something, is when she came back, instead of coming back on the right hand side like she did, is have her come back and like do it where she like runs right through us.
Yeah, but that would have, maybe. I wanted to, I don't know why I decided not to do that because I think,
It would have been too much post work, I know.
no, I don't even know if, if post wise, if it would look good. Because what would
True.
that look like? That would look like,
I don't know.
I don't know. Because I wanted to, I didn't want to make you guys look like Ghost or,
No, I know.
I like,
Oh, you know what it would have been? Because she has not, as her ghost self right there,
yeah.
she has not said a word to me, and that was the first time she said anything. What would have been really kind of cool is if when she ran back, she stopped right in her position there, and then she turned to me and said, "I'm sorry." It's like
Oh, like,
past and present met each other. I don't know. I'm just throwing out weird ideas.
All right, let's go back and shoot it.
All right, sounds good.
This is another one of, like, this scene is so funny to me because it brings up all different emotions in me, and I don't know
Okay.
why. I think it's because just how nonchalant little Jenny is about her dad saying goodbye. Because I feel like
Yeah.
it's the innocence of children, like, captured perfectly, is that she gets what she wants, and then she just is like, I'm out of here.
I love how I don't even know how we did that, to be honest with you, because I mean I walked the entire time, but yet somehow she appears there after. How did you do that scene? Was she standing there the entire time?
Yeah, she was
Did
staring
you
at
just
the,
you
yeah, and
just did
then,
a mad over it?
yep, and then just slowly faded it in. This one also makes me laugh because Kelly was doing this with the lights of putting in the trees, and he got so excited about it, but it was after our 2 days of 14-hour shooting, and
Yeah.
you and I were like, let's just go home. We're done for the day. And he's like, guys, we could do this light thing some more. And I was like, no. And it would have been good. I don't know where I would have used it, but um,
No, I like it. It adds that weirdness to it.
it's kind
But
of, and
yeah,
I kind of used it as like now they're going away and it's everything's going back to some sort of normal. But
yeah,
this is the night we shot all the way to the dark, and then you and I, Kelly left. You and I went back to the house, and then we unloaded, and we found out that we were missing.
yeah. So that actually means that that was sitting way back there for quite a while, because those light things we did closer to the our exit of the forest.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
didn't we do that when now that I think about it, you didn't use that scene where I was sitting there against that stump?
Yeah. It was. We just watched it. It was just part of that scene.
Was I too busy watching the?
Yes. Oh, there's Millie.
Oh yeah.
See, the dog's there. Ah, the teapot.
teapot and the mannequin head.
We shot this during the day though. We're
Yeah.
shooting night for day. That was tough.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. So overall, what kind of takeaways did you get from watching this movie again and talking about it?
What
How do you
takeaways do I
what
get?
how do you feel about the process? What do you think? What do you think people will get
I'm
out of it? I'm just gonna keep throwing questions and not let you talk.
okay. I appreciate it. You know, like I said, with what will people get out of it, I think it dependent on the person because like we said earlier, is that it can be interpreted quite a few different ways. And like I said, every time I look at it, I kind of see it from a different angle and take a different thing from it. So I think that's one of the things that I like about it a lot. As for like the process and stuff, I can see how valuable a script is.
Yeah, I don't think that. I
I
think
mean, don't get me wrong, it was a fun experience and it's nice to improv, but to improv pretty much an entire script, it's definitely challenging.
yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where you think, "Oh, this might be easier," but the answer is it's not. It's
Yeah,
you have to put more
yeah.
work into the whole thing. Um,
Now, actually, here's a question on this end. So this is the question I've been asked, and again,
I'm not going to answer this question. I know what's coming, but
okay.
go
What's
ahead.
what's what's the question? You tell me what you think the question is.
Where does he go?
Yeah, what is happening?
Exactly.
See, I've had the theory thrown at me. Now is he just going in there and actually doing a in the garage? Like, is he going to end his life in the garage with the exhaust, or is he driving off back to the forest to end his life there, or is he just running away from it all?
What do you hate open endings like that?
No, I love open endings.
Okay. I usually hate open endings, so this movie probably would make me really angry if I was watching
No,
this.
I love that. I love that because it leaves it to your imagination. You can end it the way you want it to end.
Choose your own adventure.
Exactly. And hell, I grew up on those books, so
I think to give some, if you're watching this and you're listening to this, I'll give some closure to people. Maybe this helps, but if you're if you look at life and somebody hits a terrible problem or something tragic happens or they lose somebody that they love, what really happens to them? And I think people, the answer is that they continue to live whatever way they can. Or they don't.
well, I think this movie also represents, when people leave, it's not just them that is either hurt or affected by it. It's people that surround them. It's the people that care for them. Yes, they both disappeared and died, but this shows how it affects people who aren't dead or aren't missing. I mean, it shows how it affects those around them.
And yeah, I agree with that. And it leads into we have a little bit of look into her, Louise's brother, but that's just one piece of the puzzle. I mean, think of how many other people were affected by
Yeah, absolutely.
this.
Ideas by Steve. But I think what's coming up right. Yeah, I did like this. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching GIVE with Jason and I blabbering on about our time with this movie, and I don't know what to say. I just appreciate you watching, and I hope that you get something from this. I hope that you're kind to everybody in your life, and I hope people are kind to you. And Jason, anything else that we should be adding?
No, you pretty much said it.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Cool.
You done recording now?
Yeah. Let me stop it.
Make sure you put that there. Are you done recording now? So, are you actually going to put this commentary on Amazon then?
So probably not on Amazon
Okay.
because I don't even know if I can do that.
Okay.
I'm thinking about just releasing the movie on YouTube with the commentary,
Oh, okay.
seeing how that goes, or something else. I don't know. I just think it's fun to have. It's fun to do.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy it.
We should have maybe brought more people in, but
Maybe you can do multiple commentaries. You know, those ones that have like 3 or 4 different commentaries. I enjoyed it.
I think
Yeah, it definitely brings back all those memories. I mean, I know it was only a couple years ago. Was it 2 years ago?
it was
No, it was last year.
October of 2019,
Yeah.
September of 2019. So
Yeah.
less than 2 years. I just submitted it again to